Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up? Dr. Jaws here, and welcome back to another shark study party. It's hard to believe that we are over 100, well over 100 streams in, 100 species in, but there's 500 plus sharks in the world, so it's exciting to come back to the angel sharks, Squatina Day, order Squatina forms, and meet a new one, which is going to be a really important one, the Sawback Angelshark, Squatina aculeata. So this species in the video, in the film that we're watching, this is the classic angel shark, Squatina squatina, but it lives in the same area as the sawback angel shark, Squatina aculeata, and it pretty sure both are critically endangered. So it's going to be really cool to learn more about not just this species for tonight, but also dive back into this group of sharks, which is in a lot of trouble, at least in the Mediterranean region. In North America, we have the sand devil, Squatina demeral, which is actually doing pretty okay, but in the Mediterranean, the classic angel shark and the sawback angel shark, and quite a few others are critically endangered shark species. So very excited to dive into these sharks tonight. And I think what we'll do is we'll kind of start out with some footage of cousins of the sawback angel shark and kind of see how the animal behaves. So we'll dive in. And let me actually speed this back up to full speed, because I usually like to kind of slow it down so you can better see some of the behavior, but we could take a look. So then, again, this is a classic angel shark, Squatina squatina, and this looks like it's the same clip. Oh, no, it's not. This one actually looks a little bit different. This might be Squatina californica. This is the Pacific angel shark. The classic angel shark, you can tell it's the classic species because it has these unique white lines on its back, and there's no other angel shark that actually looks like that. So this is the classic one that was the first angel shark discovered, and this is kind of like the origin of the name Squatinidae and Squatiniforms and Squatina, the genus. The one in this clip, oh, that's actually a really good shot of how these guys are ambush predators. So there's a lot going on, actually. So I think we'll just take a look at how angel sharks function in general. So as probably most people know, these are bottom-dwelling sharks that like to stick close to the seabed, bury themselves beneath the sand, and lie in wait for their prey. So any prey that's kind of swimming right by their mouths, the angel shark will quickly latch it up. It's kind of like a living bear trap or wolf trap. The jaws operate just kind of like this really sharp, nasty hinge, which is really cool as an adaptation. I think these sharks are particularly adorable, just kind of like with their flat shape and round heads. But they're actually also very feisty. We've talked about how angel sharks are kind of pugnacious, with on prior streams with prior species. They've been pretty brave, not going after divers, but like if a diver harasses them, an angel shark will definitely bite back and actually chase a diver. So they're not. I mean, no sharks are sharks to mess with, but these especially, they kind of do have not an attitude, but they're kind of like blue crabs. Like they're just pugnacious animals, and you don't want to like mess with them. So this one I'm pretty sure is the Pacific angel shark, just because it has like the speckle pattern on the back. This is a great shot of an angel shark species burying itself in the sand. I really love this combination of like kind of slapping its head down into the sand and moving its pectoral fins to kind of further pile sand onto its body. So it's really cute, but also really effective, where the animal is, a master of camouflage. It's actually really reminiscent of a flounder. Like he does a really good job of hiding himself in his ambush spot. So one cool thing about angel sharks is they are true sharks, so they are not rays. You can tell the difference just by the head shape. For angel sharks, their heads are separated from their pectoral fins. It looks like they're not, but if you look at their anatomy, if you were to kind of like pivot the pectoral fin, you would see that the head is completely separate from it, whereas rays, the head is fused to their pectoral fins. Angel sharks also have their gills on the side of their head, which is a shark characteristic, whereas rays have their gills underneath their head. Finally, most rays have their mouths underneath their bodies, while sharks have their mouths kind of like forward facing. Like most rays have their mouths kind of like ventrally facing, but sharks have their mouths forward facing. So there's a lot of characteristics about an angel shark that make it different from a ray. Like even though it's flat, like most rays, it just has those classic shark characteristics: the separate head, the forward facing mouth, and then the gills on the sides that actually make it a true shark. Some angel shark species, like the sand devil, are sexually dimorphic. So males will have like thorny fins or thorns on their pectoral fins. Females will have smooth fins, which is really cool. It's like a secondary sexual characteristic, kind of like antlers in deer, or I guess antlers in deer is the best example. We're back to a classic angel shark in this clip. You can kind of barely see the lines on its back. Those are characteristic of the classic species that lives in the Mediterranean. As we talked about before, Mediterranean angel sharks don't do really well because they are bottom-dwelling sharks that are in an area with high fishing pressure. There's a lot of trawling in that area, a lot of bottom trawling that disrupts the habitat, but also scoops up a lot of these angel sharks. And unfortunately, like for the Mediterranean, when you think about it, it's a sea that's surrounded on all sides almost by land. That's literally where it gets its name from, and consequentially, there's this human impact, like all these people, who could fish, apply those waters, do bottom trawling, and in some countries there's not a lot of really good regulation, to kind of like help curtail the fisheries impact. So those are part of the reasons why angel sharks don't really do very well in that region, which is really sad. So this clip, I don't think I've seen this one before, so I'm excited to kind of, let me turn it down. I'm excited to kind of check out, this is Canary Islands, check out if we do get to see some angel sharks in it. This one is new. I think the last one we've seen before, but this one is really new. It's actually really cool to see shallow water scuba diving. So very safe, very easy. And there we go. So in a shallow water environment, you can meet an angel shark. That's actually a really cool activity. This is, again, the classic species, Squatina, with the lines on its back. What a really, really beautiful opportunity. So making a note to hopefully one day be in the Canary Islands. That would be really cool. This is interesting behavior. That almost looked like the beginning of mating behavior. Let me go back to that, actually. It's hard to tell, but it is interesting that this individual shark is kind of his snout, and I'm assuming it's a male. It's hard to tell, but behaviorally it almost seems like it's a male. His snout is near the pectoral fin of this shark, and this shark is raising its trunk above the seabed. So that kind of hints to me that this might be the beginning, like an initiation behavior. In mating, roughly all sharks, and it might be universal, but roughly all sharks, male sharks will bite the pectoral fins of females, and it's a way to try to angle themselves to be more aligned with their bodies for copulation. One kind of interesting thing about that is female sharks have a thicker skin for that reason. And I think also, I don't know if that relates to the trend of female sharks being larger than male sharks. I don't know if that is related to mating evolutions as well, or mating adaptations as well, but female sharks have thicker skin because of the biting, and I think it's the biting rituals. I do think that is, widely applied. Hey Bibia, good morning. I appreciate that. Oh, no worries, no worries. Hope you had a good week and a good weekend. I hope you have a good week and I hope you had a good weekend. So thank you so much for joining. It's good to see you. Welcome back, welcome back. So it's really cool because I appreciate live chat from Europe as we are looking at a European shark. Or I guess Mediterranean shark, so Europe, Africa. But it's really exciting to see it's just really cool to be talking about sharks of the Mediterranean. It's been a while since we've been back, so it's really just cool to see this unique region, and to meet some of these really unique species. So again, the shark in this clip is a classic angel shark, but tonight's species will be the Sawback Angelshark. So we'll illustrate the differences as we learn more about them. I really think this is mating. It's hard to tell, but it's just so interesting to see that shark was on top of the other one. I don't know how many sharks would be comfortable with that as an actual resting position. I know a lot of like white tip reef sharks will rest next to each other in the seabed, but not on top of each other, especially since that would inhibit ambush predation. So anyway, we've seen this clip before, but it's just too cool not to include. This is a great demonstration of an angel shark's jaws. Don't want an ad. I'm just gonna skip this. Skip. Hate the ads, dude. Okay. There we go. Sorry, it's just too cool not to share. So here we go. Angel shark opens its mouth, and you can see the jaws like kind of stretching beyond. That's so cool. Look at that. So we're gonna take a closer look at that. It's a great shot of how just shark's jaws work, and also how really nasty angel shark jaws are. There's a reason why the Squatina in North America is called the sand devil. It's just because like fishermen have been on the business end of these jaws. When they unfortunately catch some of these this kind of shark, and it's just extremely nasty. It's a really bad bite. So, but yeah, I'm gonna slow the clip down and then play it and zoom in so you can kind of see even further just how extreme that is. Look at that. This is an excellent example, like a living example of a shark's anatomy too, where we've talked about this a lot, I think, this year, and it's kind of cool to see it in action. That sharks' jaws are not fused to their skulls or to their chondrocraniums. They don't really have skulls, I guess, for that reason. Like mammals, humans, dogs, like bird, mammals, birds, reptiles, humans, dogs, eagles, like I don't know, snakes, whatever. Like they have their craniums fused to their jaws, so they have just like their upper jaws fused to like their brain case, like their sensory, like eye sockets, like nasal cavity, like everything like that, right? But sharks are really interesting where their jaws are separate. They're not connected structurally. Like there's no cartilaginous connection. It's just like a series of muscles and like disconnected elements, and that allows for sharks to like project their jaws forward and have a lot of flexibility, which is a great adaptation for scooping up prey. But it's just such an amazing thing to see because it's like so surreal. It's so different from what we're used to, as far as like what we think like a skull is or a head is, and it's just kind of one of the many amazing things about sharks in general. But there we go. One more time looking at this, you can clearly see how the jaws are separate from the chondrocranium in this shark. And all sharks have the same thing. So like the classic like slow down like great whites lunging their jaws forward, or sand tiger sharks projecting their jaws, or goblin sharks projecting their jaws, all of them are able to do it. And it's just extremely cool to see. So that clip is just really exciting. So I just wanted to take a moment to watch it. We've got one more clip of an angel shark, and this one, I've never seen this one before, but this is one buried in the sand and then immediately being startled, so it's kind of cool to watch. Again, these are master ambush predators, so they, and this one you can clearly tell is a male. It's probably a mature male. You can see the claspers, and you can see the claspers are beyond the pelvic fins, so that's typically a sign that that's a mature male. If the claspers are the same length as the pelvic fins, that might usually is a sign of an immature male. But this one, given that the size of the claspers and how they go beyond the fins, is probably mature male. I love the fins of angel sharks, by the way. As far as it's kind of cool to see that the dorsal fins are both fairly large. The Oh, this is cool. This is an angel shark chilling out with some. I don't know if these are. These look like mantis shrimp, but actually no, they're not because they don't. They have like a different head shape. I'm not really sure what these are. These look like prawns almost, but really cool to see. Pretty interesting lifestyle for this group of sharks. Again, being ambush predators, just spending most of their time on the seabed, chilling out, waiting for the right moment to strike prey. So I think the rest of this is just going to be stills. So. Without further ado, I think it's a great time to dive into tonight's species, the Sawback Angelshark, Squatina aculeata, and learn more about this particular species and what makes it unique. So, I think we'll kind of start out in a little bit different direction. We'll kind of hop over to the FAO guides, taking a look at some of the details on Sawback Angelsharks, and then from there we'll go into what we typically lead in with, which is like the IUCN Red List assessment, fish base, and then from there research. So here's an FAO illustration, Squatina aculeata. Things that I'm kind of noticing. I'm trying to see if we can. There we go. Just want to make this a little bit more centered. There we go. I'm immediately noticing kind of more of a squared off pectoral fins. Angel sharks' fin shapes kind of vary quite a lot. Their colorations also vary quite a lot as well. So this particular shark seems to be bluish gray with dark speckles, a smattering of white speckles, and like kind of dark gray blotches. The fins seem to be more square in appearance. Some angel sharks have more pointed looking fins. Some of them actually have more rounded looking fins. So it's kind of cool to see. There's more of like an angular shape kind of going on. Kind of like more of a squared off appearance going on, which is kind of cool. Two triangular dorsal fins. Kind of a little bit of a squatter, shorter tail than was typical for angel sharks. And one cool thing about angel shark illustrations is that because the sharks are so flat, usually artists will kind of turn the caudal fin on its side, so it almost looks like a whale fluke in the illustration. But in life, the shark might be able to lay down with its fins flattened, but when it's swimming, the fins are vertical, just like other shark species. So this is more detail. Squatina aculeata, which is ironically named apparently by, you can see who named it, Dumeril, who has worked, I guess, with a lot of angel sharks, because the one that's in North America is named Squatina Dumeril after him, so it's pretty interesting. But we'll read on in terms of, this is a good classic overview of what makes a shark unique, so here we go. Flattened ray-like shark, broad, the width across rear ends of pectoral fin base, about 5.4 to 6 times in total length. Dermal denticles on back with very broad, erect, blunt, cusped pyramidal crowns, very large thorns present on snout and between the eyes and spiracles. So it's kind of cool that, and actually you can kind of see this here. It's a little fuzzy, but you can kind of see the sawback. Like the thorny crest on the back of this animal that gives it its name, the Sawback Angelshark. Let's see, eyes relatively large. Anterior nasal flaps. This is a trait that scientists use for angel sharks a lot to try to tell the species apart. There's like really minute differences between species sometimes because the coloration, coloration can be a little tricky for sharks. If it's like a coral reef dwelling shark, colors do matter as far as identification. It's a good diagnostic. But if it's more of like a bottom-dwelling shark that lives in a sandy environment like an angel shark, or if it's like a pelagic shark. Color is not a good trait usually to use. So, and with angel sharks, they could be so variable in color that it could be especially confusing. So, point being, like these minute differences, like these notes on the nasal flaps, is something that scientists use for angel sharks specifically quite a lot, just to tell species apart. So, color brown, and I'm just going to read the color for fun. Brown or gray, brown above, white below, with obscure darker markings and small, relatively obscure, symmetrical white spots. So, okay. So this species does live in the Mediterranean. I think this FAO guide is focusing on West Africa, but this species does also live in the Mediterranean. And we'll verify that here. Yes, so you do get sawback angel sharks in the Mediterranean Sea and Western Africa. Here we go. But a warm temperate to tropical species of the continental shelves and uppermost continental slopes, ranging in depth from 30 to 300 meters. Inshore and offshore waters in the area, ovoviviparous, so it's kind of giving live birth, but there's no like yolk sac placenta. Eats small sharks, herrings, jacks, pickerels, soles, and other flatfish, cuttlefish, shrimp, mantis shrimp, and crabs. Separate statistics not reported for the species. The species is caught primarily in bottom trawls, but also with fixed bottom nets, on line gear, and even in pelagic trawls. Utilize dried salted, fresh, for oil. Hides are used for leather. A demersal fishery for the species, and this is really confusing. Squatina aculeata recently occurred off Namibia. So I forgot that this angel shark, tonight's species, Squatina aculeata, is really infuriatingly similarly named to a Squatina oculata. These are two different species. I don't know who thought those names would apply or those names would be good for these species, because it's just, conservation is like hard as it is. Trying to identify a shark species is hard as it is. But now you've got these like rhyming names. Squatina aculeata, Squatina oculata. That's not great. So I forgot about that weird dynamic. And they do overlap in range, I think, too. So that's really frustrating, actually. Yeah, they do. There it is. Squatina oculata. That's really frustrating. This looks different, but still it's the differences are subtle. So let's see if we can find another identification guide. Here we go. Same image, Sawback Angelshark. Let's see. Key features that they're identifying here: large, dark blotches on head, back, fin bases, and tail. Inner orbital space, so between the eyes, concave. So meaning like with angel sharks, they have like a really cool profile. That's actually a good view of it. Here we go. So they almost have like kind of, I always think they have like T-Rex eyes, almost like dinosaur eyes, like they have these kind of crests. So it depends on the species, but in here you can actually kind of see that a little bit, where the eyes are at the top of the head. Great position for being an ambush predator trying to look up, of what's above you. But you can see like these like thorns here, almost like classic like dinosaur illustration or like a dragon drawing or something. And then like the concave indentation here, so it's like the eyes are at the top of these two ridges. So it's really cool looking, like when you're looking at an angel shark straight on. I just think it looks really cool. Horn sharks kind of look like that too, like with the crests, There's something that's like very just theropod-like. I don't know, and I really like it. I just think it's pretty interesting. So this is a cool figure, by the way. Look how big this shark can get. So the Sawback Angelshark can actually be the size of a human being. So that's actually really impressive. And a little concerning. You don't want to step on the shark, because that's going to be a really bad bite. Let's see. Dull gray or light brown dorsally, pale below, small irregular white spots without dark edges, sparsely scattered on dorsal surface. A row of large predorsal forings present on midline, back, and tail from head to dorsal fins and between fin bases. So this is where this shark gets its name. Again, it's these really cool thorns on the back. And that's something that's really fun about angel sharks specifically is that wherever you are in the world, each species does have like a really cool, uniquely or set of thorns in some way. Because the sand devil is one I was talking about earlier. Being sexually dimorphic, with the males having thorns and the females not having thorns. It's actually really cool that those sharks have their thorns on their pectoral fins. This shark has thorns on its back. So, very, very cool appearance. What's kind of interesting and related to that is that a lot of rays, who also are majority bottom-dwelling, or maybe not majority, but quite a few of them are bottom-dwelling, because some of them are pelagic, like how-nose rays and manta rays are pelagic. But like a lot of rays, like southern stingray, blunt-nosed stingray, like these, like a lot of stingrays, like also have very strong thorns. A lot of skates, which are also bottom-dwelling, have very exaggerated thorns, and I'm curious why that adaptation exists. It's really cool, but it's interesting that these bottom-dwelling animals have developed it. So. And it's kind of unique to the cartilaginous fish, I feel, because flounder, which are also bottom-dwelling, like soles, halibut, they don't have thorny features last time I checked. I think they have pretty smooth backs, so it's pretty interesting. So, lateral head folds with prominent triangular lobes. So they're talking about like these little squiggles right here. So these subtle details, again, this is a way to tell angel sharks from one another. That's kind of more... that requires a lot of expertise. And frankly, you know, I personally do have trouble telling angel sharks apart with a feature like that. That's just so subtle. But it's something that scientists rely on to try to tell the species apart. This one's also interesting. Nasal barbels fan-like with expanded tips and strong lobate fringes. So this is kind of cool adaptation where it almost kind of looks like, you know, sea lettuce or algae or something like that. Like maybe a camouflage kind of feature. Not 100% sure, but it's kind of cool that... Actually, you know what? It actually might be. Because now I think about it, it's like fish love structure. I mean, little fishes like love to be around and near seaweeds and algae and things, like, you know, kind of like that floating feathery movement. And they think of it as like safety, right? And it's actually really interesting to see that there's this kind of like flowing feathery adaptation right near the shark's mouth, you know. And I actually think that must be that. I strongly suspect that's why the shark's mouth looks like that and has these features, because it probably is something that has attracted fish. Because you think about it, it's like if you're an ambush predator, you're sitting on the seabed, you're motionless, you know, how can you best guarantee a fish is on the right end where it's like the fish is right in front of your mouth, you know, as opposed to being around your tail on your side? Like, you want that fish to come so close to your mouth, right? What's going to attract them? You know, when you think of anglerfish, they have a lure adaptation, like goosefish have a lure adaptation that they wiggle to get fish closer to their mouths. Angel sharks don't have anything like that, but this facial feature with kind of like these lobes, that's something that I think works. So that's really cool. So I've never read that, but I strongly suspect that, I'm going to just put forward a hypothesis that that's why they have this feature on their face. That's really interesting. So, because it just makes sense. I mean, and one cool thing about evolution and adaptation, nothing is accidental. Nothing is wasted. You know, just for most things, there's a reason why it's shaped like that, or looks like that, or sounds like that. There's a reason that's proven to be effective for the animal. So, very cool. Let's see, depth range 30 to 500 meters. We already got the size. Let's see. I think that might be it for this species. I don't think they have a live photo of it. So, we'll move on. Here's another FAO guide. This one's actually kind of cool because it's a little bit different. Clear illustration. Same one, but just, you know, a little bit more detail. But nice detailed dermal denticles. So this is one of the thorns on the sawback. So it's actually really cool to see it in detail here. So pretty interesting. Okay. Let's see. I won't reread any information. I'm just going to look for new pieces of information. So here we go. It's all description stuff. An offshore angel shark of the outer continental shelf and uppermost slope of the warm temperate tropical eastern Atlantic, on or near the bottom at depths of 30 to 500 meters. It apparently prefers muddy bottom. Oh, okay, that's actually pretty interesting. So, I'm used to angel sharks being in sandy areas, and it does matter, which is kind of cool. And I didn't really realize it until kind of later in my marine science career, if you will, but substrate type is really, really important because it does have a different assemblage of species. So sandy bottoms, attract a certain set of like invertebrates. Muddy bottoms attract another set of invertebrates, and it can have a really big impact on what's evolved to kind of like hunt in that area. For example, in the bay, we have a lot of muddy areas that are great for clams. And in those areas, we have the cow-nosed rays that come in every summer. They're back now, actually. That scoop up the clams from those muddy areas. The muddy areas attract those rays, and you can make an argument that those muddy areas are more attractive for them than sandy areas. So, even though it seems like a subtle difference on the surface, like sand versus mud, it actually is a big difference in terms of like the community structure, like the invertebrates and just potential prey items that lives in those environments. So, let's see. There's more information in this guide on the Sawback Angelshark. So gestation is about 12 months, but possibly with a biennial reproductive cycle. So that's very slow. This is also a different note than the other FAO guide, viviparous. So this is live bearing with a yolk sac. So that's really different from ovoviviparous. Gestation, so if the shark takes 12 months, like an entire year, to reproduce, and it takes a year-long break, and creating a 2-year reproductive cycle, that's really bad in the face of fishing pressure. So a lot of sharks are infamously slow-growing and late maturing, and it's actually really scary that angel sharks, and especially a Mediterranean angel shark, that's susceptible to a lot of fishing pressure, is so slow to reproduce, and that just accentuates the problem. So, let's see. Litter sizes, according to one study, show a positive correlation with the size of the female. This is what we've seen in other shark species too, but larger females tend to have more pups. So, pretty cool to see that across orders. So I think it was the Carcharodophorbs we were seeing that happen. But it's really cool to see Squatina forms, that same phenomenon kind of happening. Diet of the Mediterranean Sea includes small sharks, herring, jacks, pickerels, flatfish, sole, cuttlefish, and crustaceans including shrimp, including mantis shrimp. There's a typo here. We call it mantis shrimp, but mantis shrimp, and crabs. So. Let's see, interest of fisheries limited, caught primarily in bottom trawls, but also fixed bottom nets. No species-specific catch data is available for the species. It is caught off Tunisia, and possibly is a component of catches in other Mediterranean countries, including those that report angel sharks. Angel sharks are fished off the Atlantic coast of Africa, but with little information being available. Local names include the spiny angel shark, the monkfish, and the sawback angel shark. Monkfish is kind of funny because ancient sailors used to see angel sharks in the seabed, and they resembled friars, like Christian friars, like monks, where their robes at that time period were very wide and tailored in such a way that it actually eerily looks a lot like the shark, like the shark's profile, if you will. So if you imagine like an angel shark illustration that's kind of turned 90 degrees so that the head is on the top and the tail's on the bottom, it does look like an ancient, like a medieval depiction of a monk. It's actually really interesting. So that's where they get the name monkfish from, is just because of the resemblance. Like ancient sailors kind of seeing that, or I should say ancient, but medieval sailors kind of seeing that resemblance. So this distinctive angel shark has sometimes been confused with Squatina aculeata and Squatina squatina, but is clearly separable from these species. Its nasal barbels and interior nasal flaps are heavily fringed, as in the 4 species of Australian angel sharks and the Taiwanese Squatina trigocyletoids. So we'll go back to, or we'll check out IUCN Red List just to figure out what's going on with the species conservation-wise. It is critically endangered after all, so definitely want to know what's going on. And usually I don't really like eCam updates, but I cannot wait for this next one because something happened with the display on my computer. I apologize for all the weird cropping, and there we go. Alright, the Sawback Angelshark. One second. There we go. The Sawback Angelshark is a medium-sized demersal shark that formerly was common and important predator over large areas of its coastal shelf and continental slope habitat in the Mediterranean Sea and eastern Atlantic. Most of this region is now subject to intense demersal fisheries, and the species is highly susceptible at all life stages to bycatch and demersal trawls, set nets, dredges, and bottom long lines operating through most of its range and habitat. Industrial and artisanal fishing pressure is intense and often unregulated in this region, and it's suspected that this will continue at the current level or increase in the future. As a result of its limiting life history characteristics and bycatch and fisheries with steadily increasing effort and capacity, its abundance has declined dramatically during the past 50 years. It is now extremely uncommon throughout most of its range, and many records of angel sharks are only reported to genus level. That's really bad. So meaning that people can't identify the species, so they lump them into the genus, and that's not good for conservation because there's a reason why they're different species. They have different life histories. They have different requirements. I'm trying to think of like a good analogy. Like, it's like lumping dogs, wolves, and coyotes into one group, and you can't do that because they're all very different. They're all the same genus Canis, but they all act very differently. Dogs are fluffy and happy and like domesticated. Wolves are wild and really dangerous, because they are highly social, highly intelligent, and not domesticated. They very much can go after humans if they want to. And then coyotes, similarly, they're unpredictable, maybe not as dangerous as wolves, but they are not domesticated. So those 3 animals are just different. Their life histories are also different. Dogs are in a cushy, happy world where they have nothing to worry about. Wolves are not doing as well conservation-wise. Coyotes occupy so many different habitats, so it's like you can't manage each one in one category. You know what I mean? That's why that's probably the best analogy I have as far as lumping the angel sharks into one category. You can't. You have to. Each one has different nuances. So along the West African coast, this species is taken as occasional bycatch of industrial trawl and artisanal gillnet fisheries, and was reported as common in Russian-led surveys during the 1970s and 80s. Interesting. Portuguese landings data from the fleet operating off Morocco and Mauritania, aggregated for the 3 native angel shark species combined, indicates a 95% decline in catch per unit effort from 1990 to 1998. The available data from this region indicate that there are very few recent records. It is suspected that the species has undergone overall declines of at least 80% across its range over the past 3 generation lengths, and bycatch is likely to continue. Therefore, the species is assessed as critically endangered. So, very scary, and you can actually see it. It's not common that we see this on IUCN Red List, but this is a good species to take a look at. Look at this map, where the gold areas are the areas where we know the angel shark lives, and then the gray areas are areas where we're not entirely sure, meaning that historically it used to live there, but maybe it's been so overfished we haven't really seen it in a while. So it looks like Tunisia and Sicily, it seems to be there, but Libya, Egypt, Algeria, we haven't really seen it. Western Greece, Albania, haven't seen it. Greece and Turkey, Eastern Greece and Turkey, we seem to still have the species. Really sad, just to see kind of like how potentially deep of an impact fishing has had on this animal. So, let's see if we can. Sometimes for critically endangered species, IUCN Red List will have some more detailed notes. I'm kind of curious if there's anything specific here. Species generation length is estimated to be about 15 years, based on data for its relative, the Pacific angel shark. That's a little tricky. You have to have something to make life history calculations, but again, Pacific angel sharks are different, so it's not guaranteed that they're similar. As far as like trying to figure out how long it takes for these animals to mature. Something is better than nothing, but it's still they're basing it off of an entirely different species. So let's see. The name Squatina comes from the Latin word for skate, which angel sharks superficially resemble. That's actually really cool. So, and I really like that. I feel like it must be related to the word like squat, like flat. Aculeata, Latin for sharp-pointed, referring to the large thorns on its head and along its back. So, really good name for the species. The scientific name is Squatina aculeata. Found mainly on muddy bottom, feeds on small sharks and jacks. Not much else. So, this is a kind of cool image that shows in detail. Let's see if I can zoom in on this. Some of those fleshy features at the top of its mouth, it's really cool to see that. I feel like my theory that they might use this as a potential lure, if you will, or something that attracts small fish, because again, all fish like structure, small or large. They really are attracted to anything that's kind of like floating, waving, anything underwater. And it makes sense because in any kind of structured environment in the ocean is great habitat for plankton that latches on and colonizes it and becomes something else, like plankton that becomes a barnacle, plankton that becomes an oyster. Biofouling, right? So this is a problem, well, not a problem, but this is something that like ships deal with, where a ship is floating in the water, anything can attach to it, and if left out there long enough, like whatever is like floating, any kind of structure is just a surface area for something to colonize, something to kind of like, grow from. And that in turn begins this construction of a very complex habitat that is a really good food source for a lot of different animals, and fish love it. So, like floating seaweed or algae, like there's a lot of animals that can live on it, like bryozoans, barnacles, sea slugs, like snails, worms. Like there's a lot of invertebrates that can be in these areas. So, and there's a lot of fish that like those, like to eat those invertebrates. So, floating anything in the ocean brings the fish in. They really like it. They feel safe, and they feel like there might be an opportunity for food there. And so for a shark to have evolved these kind of these like feathery, floaty algae-like fronds near its mouth. I do think this has got to be some kind of adaptation that is suiting its ability to be an ambush predator. I just think it's really cool. So I wonder if I could find a clip of anglerfish just to kind of show you a little bit what I mean. Let's see. And there's one in particular, the goosefish. Goosefish. I know this is probably going to screw up my audio, and I apologize in advance. We'll do this. The grumpy goosefish. Oh, actually, I forgot. Grumpy goosefish is an actual species. Hold on. That's not the shallow water one. Goosefish angler. I used to take care of one in the Seacoast Science Center in New Hampshire. There we go. So this might show us this. Okay, so this is a goosefish, which is kind of similar to an angel shark as far as its habitat or its habits. And what this guy does, he's doing it right now. That's awesome. Okay, so he's waving his angler. It's this kind of like modified dorsal fin spine that he waves around and wiggles like a fishing lure. So this is a good close-up of it. It's right here. He might wiggle it again. But this is an attractant, something to kind of get other kinds of fish into its close to its mouth. So I'll do this again. You can maybe see it. And you can actually see similar adaptations here. Look at its chin. The lower jaw is actually surrounded by all these like fringy, filamenty looking features. So that I feel like this has got to be a thing. And it's actually really cool. This is a completely different animal. This is not a shark at all. This is, a bony fish. But there's so many parallel features, like the flat body, similar coloration, kind of like the feathery, fleshy, areas around its mouth. An ambush predator that lies in wait and is half buried in sand. So it's actually really cool to draw a parallel between goosefish, or anglerfish, also confusingly known as monkfish, and angel sharks, which are also known as monkfish, depending on where you live. So it's really cool. And I wish there was a close-up of it wiggling its lure, but hopefully you're able to see it kind of from a distance. So let's see. This is supposed to be the original description here. Very pronounced spines on this illustration. A lot of great names. Sawback Angelshark. Squadrolino is the Italian name. Really like that. Angelote espinoso, which I think is Spanish for spiny angel shark. So yeah. No more images here, so we'll kind of, I think, dive into the science. I don't know if I had... Oh, there's actually one more little profile. This is from NOAA. And actually, this is the first... This looks like the first image of one actual specimen, like not an illustration, which is really cool to see. So this is a sawback angel shark with a prominent ridge along its back. Again, the square... Oh, no, this is this an illustration, or is this... It's kind of hard to tell, actually. This is either a very good illustration, or... This is weird. It looks like a little bit too vague and a little bit too flattened and charcoaly to be an illustration. So it's either... And the nuances, this might be an illustration, but this definitely came from a photograph of a deceased individual, because it's just the proportions, the little nuances, they're too good to be like someone drawing this. So yeah. Let's see. The sawback angel shark is a cartilaginous fish similar to a ray or skate. The species once occurred in waters throughout the central and western Mediterranean Sea and along the eastern Atlantic from Morocco to Angola. It no longer occurs in many areas of the Mediterranean, including the Adriatic Sea and most of the northwest portion of the Mediterranean Sea, and is rare throughout the rest of its range. The main threat to the sawback angel shark is commercial fishing. particularly by demersal fisheries. So demersal is a word for bottom dwelling. So, for example, trawl fisheries that primarily operate in depths where the Sawback Angelshark occur. In 2016, NOAA Fisheries listed the species as endangered under the Endangered Species Act. So that's actually really cool. And the Endangered Species Act is different from anything that IUCN Red List says. Like, IUCN Red List is an international body. I'm pretty sure the Endangered Species Act is only the United States, so let's check this out really quick. Laws and policies. What the Endangered Species Act protects. Under the Endangered Species Act, the federal government, yeah, it's the United States. The federal government has the responsibility to conserve endangered and threatened species and their critical habitats. Endangered species are in danger of extinction throughout all or a significant portion of their range. Threatened species are likely to become endangered in the foreseeable future throughout all or a significant portion of their range. I'd actually really like to view a list of threatened and endangered species. Here we go. Thank you, Noah. Let's check out fish and sharks. And let's do endangered. I actually really am curious what Noah thinks endangered sharks are. So here we go. Okay, so this is exciting. I can't believe we've never seen this before, actually. So here we go. All right, Atlantic salmon is endangered. Atlantic sturgeon, 100%. I always think of sturgeon as like the magical wish fish. These are beautiful, giant fish that I've never seen in life. They used to be very abundant in the Chesapeake Bay, and now it's probably one of the rarest fish you could ever see, which is really sad. But sturgeon are really cool animals. They have these like really, really rigid, like bony plates on their back. They have this like very prehistoric look, so they're super, super cool. Boccaccio, also known as Pacific snapper, Pacific red snapper. I've never heard of this fish before, so that's pretty interesting. Chinook salmon makes sense, 100%. I hope Bruce. Oh, hey, we got some more comments. Hey, Howard. Oh, no worries. I'm so glad you're back. I'm so sorry about your kitchen. So I hope they figure it out soon. Kind of funny you mentioned that. We do have a minor bathroom issue with like our sink. Like I think it's it's something the piping in our sink is starting to leak a little bit. So I'm sending you good plumbing vibes. I hope to receive some good plumbing vibes too. I don't know what it is, but 'tis the season, I guess. So, but good luck. I hope that's resolved really quickly. And Marshall Cook, welcome to the stream. So, glad to have you. This is a really cool community of people where everybody's just really passionate about sharks and marine science. So everybody's super cool, super chill. And if you have any questions about sharks, or if you have a suggestion for a species, because we let the audience pick each week. The new species. Sometimes I'll suggest one, but it's really up to you guys what sharks we cover. So thank you for joining us. So, and then I always ask this because I'm always very curious. We have people on the stream from around the world. So if you are comfortable, Marshall, please let us know in the chat which country you are hailing from, and I'd love to know. No worries, not to put you on the spot, but we have Americans, Canadians, Indonesians, and I guess you would say Dutch for the Netherlands. Right, Bibia? I just want to make sure I have that right. I just want to make sure I am representing... that would be Dutch. That's totally Dutch, right? The Dutch. Yes, the Dutch. Go Dutch. So, sorry. Just want to make sure I got that right. So, but yeah, welcome, Marshall. So... we're taking a look at endangered species. So, coho salmon makes sense. Scalped hammerhead shark, Sphyrina lewini, totally makes sense. And I love this species. It's really... actually, you know what? Wait a minute. When did this become endangered? 2014. Okay, I'm really happy that... Okay, interesting. Okay. Sorry, the reason why I kind of just jumped just now is I remember when scout hammerheads were not really given the attention they deserve as far as their endangered status. It's interesting to see the jurisdiction. West Coast and foreign hammerheads are endangered. The Southeast, they're saying that those scout hammerheads are not endangered; they're threatened. But I mean, I think it's a weird. I think it's a weird call to make because like globally they're critically endangered. But this is one of my favorite shark species. I wonder if I can. Can I show this photo? Yeah, there you go. This is a scalped hammerhead that I know you guys have all probably seen this already, but this is a scalped hammerhead that I've seen personally. This is my photograph in Norfolk Canyon off the coast of Virginia in 2022. And huge individual, beautiful. I was so happy to see this shark. Just not only because I love sharks, but because I know how like endangered this is and critically endangered it is. So just wanted to take a moment to kind of shout out to this individual. Gorgeous in life. This guy was about 11 to 12. Like it was big. It was probably like 11 to 12 feet. It was a pretty big shark. So. But really cool, just chilling out. It was July too, so one of my favorite shark species. So just one of my absolute favorite shark encounters, and yeah, just I'm really happy to see that's on the endangered species list in some capacity, because globally, again, it is definitely critically endangered. So I'm just grateful that NOAA has it in some way, shape, or form here. I think I screwed up my windows. There we go. Okay. Other endangered species, short-nosed sturgeon, totally makes sense. The small-toothed sawfish. This is probably the most... Sorry, trying to change the view, but you can see it above my name. So small-toothed sawfish, this is probably the most endangered chondrichthyon in the entire country. Like I would have to give it to this animal. These things are huge and really rare. You'd be so lucky to see one. I think they're more populous in Florida, but we do have them. They can migrate up this coast on the east coast of the United States, but it's not guaranteed. So let's see. Let's see. Thanks, guys. Did a drawing for tonight. Could send it from my new phone to the computer. Oh, no, it's Howard. Thank you for the drawing. And just whenever you can, send it away. Even if we'll do a different species, I'd love to showcase your art. And actually, that goes for everybody. If anybody wants to submit any shark art, I will show it on the stream. I think if we get bigger and bigger, I probably couldn't guarantee that. But right now, with our community size, absolutely, 100%. Love to see your art. So please, feel free to send it through the Dr. Jaws website. And I'll kind of show this. I don't know if I haven't shown this in a while, drjaws.net. Yep. And also, there is a Dr. Jaws Facebook portal. That probably is better as far as sending images, but this is drjaws.net, so this is the official website. If you have any questions, it's kind of old, actually, but like if you have any questions, because I'm just realizing that my last update was like, what was it, 512 shark species? Yeah. So, and then now there's like 540, but there's a contact portal over here. So if you have any questions or have any requests, just please feel free to use the website, and I will go ahead and put this in the chat. And any shark art, that or maybe the Facebook page would probably be best. So anyway, back to endangered species. And yes, Bibia, 100% agree. Howard, your artwork is very appreciated. Definitely looking forward to it as well. So, let's see, the sockeye salmon, 100%. Any salmon is really tricky. And I feel really bad looking at these because there's some salmon that I think is Seafood Watch certified that I felt comfortable kind of getting at the store because it's Seafood Watch certified. But seeing all these names of salmon, it's like, maybe I should just maybe not mess with salmon, period. So, I don't know. We have steelhead trout. That one actually, this might be an introduced species in certain places. I actually think this is also in Virginia, but oh, and that's it. Wow. Wait, really? That's it? Wait, display all. Is that really it? That cannot be it. I would be shocked if that was it. Because that's not a lot of animals. Steelhead trout. That is it. Wow. That's really small, actually. No, okay, hold on. Let's try this again. Fish and sharks. Let's say the Mid-Atlantic. New England and Mid-Atlantic. Atlantic salmon, Atlantic sturgeon. Okay, there we go. So that was really weird. So I guess I don't know what view I was looking at. So giant manta ray makes sense, and then the oceanic white-tip shark. So it's good to see that it is a. Oh, but it's only threatened. Wow, that is really weird. This is. I'm not gonna lie. This is kind of an odd list. And it's interesting because a lot of these species. Okay, let's take a look at threatened shark species now in all regions because that's a really it's really odd to see that globally oceanic white tips are critically endangered, but they're not really given that same status. I'm just gonna skip ahead to sharks. Oceanic white tip shark, scalped hammerhead shark. Wait, is that really it? Hold on. Let's do all fish and sharks on the endangered species list. I mean, I should not be surprised. I appreciate that there's any American recognition for endangered species, but still, like, wow. Okay, here we go. Okay. Argentine angelshark. Okay, there we go. So these are all the species that somehow, in some way, shape, or form are on the endangered species list. So here we go. The Argentine angelshark. I'm just skipping through the bony fish. The common angelshark, Squatina. The daggernose shark. Okay. Some sawfish. The narrow-nosed smoothhound shark, Musselus schmidti. Oceanic white-tip shark, totally makes sense. Sawback angelshark, so there we go. This is kind of how we got started on this. Squatina aculeata. The scalped hammerhead shark. The smoothback angelshark. The spiny angelshark, Squatina guggenheim. The striped smoothhound shark, Musselus fasciatus. This is very weird, actually. Because I could tell you, I mean, there's a lot of sharks in the United States that are actually, critically endangered. So the sand tiger shark is critically endangered. The sandbar shark and dusky shark are both endangered. The great hammerhead is critically endangered. Basking sharks are endangered. Whale sharks might be endangered. So it's really strange to see how, short this list is, and I appreciate the scalped hammerhead is on it. That's really important. Mako sharks are endangered. Mako sharks get a really weird rap in the United States, where it's like globally they're a very vulnerable species, but in America they're not really treated that way, which is not good. So this is very interesting. This is quite a eye-opening list. But again, I do appreciate the oceanic white-tip and the scalped hammerhead are on it. So that's pretty interesting to see. Out of curiosity, and also just for new viewers, one thing I do love about this stream is it's very tangential, where we start with one species, but we do talk about a lot of different subjects, like from fossil sharks to shark pop culture to shark mythology. So. And right now, this is another tangent going into endangered species. So, I'm checking marine mammals because I feel like marine mammals have got to be super protected. And here we go. So, They totally are. Beluga whale, endangered. Blue whale. By the way, let me do a quick shout out to Rudy Tours in Virginia Beach. This group is incredible, and I just really got to shout them out because they saw a blue whale last weekend. And man, I guess I got to find like their Instagram or something. Like, I don't want to go on my Facebook because it's going to pull up my personal Facebook, and we don't need to see that for the entire stream. But let's see if we can get the blue whale. Blue whale. Instagram. Yes. Okay. Okay. Here we go. This should come up. I don't have an Instagram, but you can kind of cheat a little bit and see a preview. There we go. Okay. Blue whale. So this was which doesn't show which day it was. 1 day ago. Okay, so Sunday. Today's pelagic trip includes blue whale, humpback whale, fin whale, pilot whales, common dolphins, spotted dolphins, Risso's dolphins, offshore bottlenose dolphins, loggerhead sea turtles, ocean sunfish, bluefin tuna, ringneck phalaropes, birds, black-capped petrels, and Wilson storm petrel. Blue whale. I'm just so blown away that they saw one. Because it's really rare. It's just such a rare treat. These are actually, for being the largest animal in the world and the largest animal in existence, these are actually very hard to find. It's very difficult to track a blue whale, and it's just so cool that they found one. That they met one. And that's one thing that's amazing. Like a lot of like cosmopolitan animals. I mean, they're truly cosmopolitan. Yeah. Oh, Bibia, good point. Would be nice to hear. Sorry, I just saw this. Only 25 species right now endangered, but one is bad enough. I agree. I want to say my comment about it is. And actually, I'll address that in a little bit. Well, actually, I'll address that now. Sorry. So the reason why I was shocked by how short the endangered species list is that the endangered species list on NOAA is endangered species as deemed by the United States federal government, right? And there is a difference between that and the IUCN Red List, which is the International Union for the Conservation of Nature. Like, there's a global definition of endangered species, and then the American one, right? And they're different. And it's so interesting to see that the global definition of endangered species is a lot more. The list is a lot longer, and I think there's more of a caution about like, hey, like, you know, these animals. Speaking about sharks, there's like 35 critically endangered species. I think I want to say like about 30 more endangered species, and I really appreciate that the IUCN Red List is a lot more like cautious about like, hey, we should probably really pay attention to, you know, these animals and their life histories and not take it for granted. Whereas I would say the United States endangered species list is a lot more stringent. It's very difficult to get on the list, and maybe the truth is in the middle ground, or maybe not. I don't really know. I just found it very shocking. It was very shocking to see how short the shark list is for the United States. And I'm not really exactly sure why, to be honest. But I do know it's very, very difficult to get an animal on the United States endangered species list. And that's not because the animal's safe, per se. It's that I think to get that recognition, it takes a lot of work, because I think the Endangered Species Act can have a big impact on things like development or zoning. It can have a really big, wide-reaching impact. So that's kind of my theory as far as like why that list is short. I feel like maybe if we're starting to like my kind of, this is more of like a conspiracy theory, but like I wonder if the shark list is short because if we start to recognize that there's a lot of sharks that might deserve endangered species status, it might have a big impact on how we, think about coastal development, if you will, or habitat use or fishing. So that's kind of my conspiracy theory about like why it's short in the United States, whereas the ice and red list is longer. But I'm not sure. I'm actually genuinely like not 100% sure about that. So, but it is interesting to see the difference. Ecoregions are also managed a little bit differently between, or defined a little bit differently. World Wildlife Fund defines marine ecoregions in a certain way, and that's the map that I keep pointing to every time I bring up marine ecoregions, as usually the ones defined by the marine ecoregions of the world, and I think that is in part supported by World Wildlife Fund. In the United States, the EPA has its own definition of marine ecoregions. They mostly overlap, but they're a little bit different. Where and in that example, they're not necessarily better or worse. It's just that they're differently. They're defined a little bit differently. Whereas EPA can be sometimes very inclusive, and then sometimes like a little bit more sharper in their demarcations between ecoregions. So that's a different dynamic going on. But it is interesting to see that there's differences in like global definitions and then American definitions of conservation. The ecoregion one, that's not a big deal per se, because those differences kind of make sense to me. The endangered species list, that one is a bigger deal to me, because I'm like, I don't know why there's a difference. So it's interesting. Sorry, audio fuzzy. Wonder if let me see if I can change my view. Let me go back to. It might be the whale. This is so cool. It might be the Instagram. Maybe it's taking on too much bandwidth, so I will hop off of this. But I do want to showcase some of these photos. And it's actually really cool because that scalp hammerhead photo I showed earlier is actually from this tour. It is from the same group of people. So I've never seen a blue whale. I, on this tour, have seen common dolphins, so this one's a common dolphin. I have seen a loggerhead sea turtle, so this is what this is, but from a distance. Don't know what that is. I'm not a big bird person. They're great. I love birds, but like not as much as I love mammals and reptiles, or not mammals, sorry. Marine mammals, reptiles, and fishes of all kinds. So I've never seen a tuna in a wild. That's really cool. I have seen pilot whales in the wild, so that's what these guys are. Another sea turtle. More pilot whales. And I guess that's it for their Instagram photos. So, but the blue whale is just like, oh man, I like it's really cool to like just to see like something just kind of like take your breath away. And it's just like when I heard the news that Rudy Tours in off Virginia Beach found a blue whale, it's like whoa, like I just felt the air kind of like fly out of me. That was such an amazing thing. So if anyone ever visits Virginia or Virginia Beach, this group is awesome. Rudy Tours, like it's like $200 to do this. Maybe not even. I think it's like $120 to do this. You're gonna go out for 12 hours, to the edge of the continental shelf to see these amazing animals. It's so incredible. Such an incredible group. It's kind of like a best kept secret. I feel like they haven't really popped off just yet, and I'm just like, for any wildlife enthusiasts who might be in that area, please go ahead and do it. It's so cool. It's just such an amazing tour. So okay, sorry. So I'm gonna hop back to the whales because I am curious who's on the list, and then we'll get back to the sharks. But so apparently on the endangered species list, and it makes sense because I feel like whales, like globally, really, really, really are the poster child of marine conservation, and really, galvanized a lot of good work for their conservation. But here we go: beluga whale, blue whale, bowhead whale, the false killer whale, the fin whale, gray whale, humpbacked whale. I didn't even realize that humpback whales were considered to be endangered, because they're actually probably one of the more common to see large whales. I've seen. Well, I don't know. I've seen like a few in my lifetime. I guess maybe like a handful. I don't know. So, killer whales, also known as orca, endangered. North Atlantic white whale. This is probably the rarest actually no. Let me rephrase this. This is the most protected animal, marine animal, definitely in my neck of the woods or my part of the sea, my side of the pond, if you will. North Atlantic right whales, you have to do so much, and you should, but it's just like you cannot go above a certain speed if you're near a North Atlantic right whale. There's a lot of concern about lobster fishing related to the species because apparently the species gets tangled up in the lobster traps. So, really beautiful animal. Probably the most endangered whale on our coast, and definitely the most protected and most endangered species on our coast. So, North Pacific right whale, Rice's whale, sei whale, southern right whale, and sperm whale. So these are all endangered. None of these are listed as threatened. They're all endangered species. So whales are well covered, which is kind of interesting. So, um, let's see. Bibia, you might be right. Might be an issue of PC. Audio gets fuzzy twice each episode. Yeah. Shoot. I might have to get a new one. I really don't want to, but you might be right. I don't want to face the music. I've had this thing for a while, but you might be absolutely right. So I will look into that. Maybe invest in the stream. So I will look into that. So that's a really good observation, though. Thank you. So I'll see what I could do with that. But it's a shame because it's like it's kind of like a car, where it's like you're attached to it. I am quite attached to this PC, but we'll see what we could do. So. All right, closing out Endangered Species Act, Sawback Angelshark. Here we go. Let's see if we could squish this. Oh, here we go. Main threat. Oh, we already looked at the Endangered Species Act. We've talked about the appearance, but it's nice to see a quick definition of what makes this species different. The Sawback angelshark can be distinguished from other angel sharks by its row of dorsal spines, sword-like bony structures down the middle of its body, with spines also located on the snout and above the eyes. Behavior and diet. Sawback angelsharks are ambush predators, meaning they lie in wait for prey to pass closely overhead before attacking. They eat small sharks and bony fishes, along with benthic invertebrates, including cephalopods or crustaceans. We've talked about where they live. Oh, this is new. These sharks are nocturnal bottom dwellers. So we never saw that detail before that they are nocturnal, which is really cool. Most sharks, I would say most sharks are, but actually, I don't know if that's true. I was about to say most, because I should amend that. Most shallow water sharks are nocturnal. Deep water sharks, I don't think you could say they're nocturnal or diurnal because they live in total darkness. So I'm not 100% sure what most sharks are, but most shallow water sharks are nocturnal. So it's actually really cool to see that for the angel shark, that it spends, I'm assuming it spends most of the time during the day just chilling out on the seabed, and at night gets a little bit more active. So, oh, there you go. And prefer to spend most of their time buried in sand or mud during the day. So. Little is known about the growth and reproduction of Sawback angelsharks. Oh, this is cool. So a lot of, actually, go Noah. A lot of cool information. This species displays sexual dimorphism, with females reaching larger size than males of the species. So, and that's typical of sharks, but it's kind of cool to see that note here. Okay, the primary threat to the Sawback angelshark is overutilization in commercial and artisanal fisheries, particularly demersal fisheries, for example, trawl fisheries. Historically, angelsharks were so common that fishermen developed... yeah. Oh, thank you, Bibia. Sorry, I understand. It's better to conserve and use your stuff as long as possible, and first try to look for a second-hand thing, clothing, furniture, cars, and only buy new. If I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. On that note, Honda all the way. I intend to keep my car for 20 years, 30 years. I don't know. So, yeah, you absolutely must, because it's better for the environment. Yeah. So, if you absolutely must, because it's better for the environment. Agreed. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. One thing that's kind of cool. This is really random, but it's making me think of that. I appreciate that as kind of entertainment technology has evolved, it's gotten greener. Where it's like we think about, say, the '90s, and this is it's funny because I'm in my 30s, so I'm dating myself quite a bit. But like in the '90s, you think of TVs. I remember like big boxy. I don't know what you call it. I don't know if you call those cathode TVs. I forget what you call those, but like big boxy TVs, right? They're clunky, they're huge, and now we have these nice flat screen TVs that are easier to lift, that are bigger, but proportionally they're much more energy efficient. They're greener technology, and it's kind of cool that like a lot of entertainment technology has kind of just organically become greener. Where like flat screen TVs are like that, and I think about video games, or specifically like handheld video games, because I had like a Game Boy when I was a kid, and that thing was a brick that took batteries, and you had to keep replacing the batteries over and over again. And then slowly it got like more and more efficient, where it required less and less batteries, and then eventually it stopped doing batteries, and you had a rechargeable power source in like the Nintendo DS, and then the 3DS, and then the Switch. It's like it's kind of cool that in a weird way, entertainment technology got greener and greener. So longer lasting. I don't know, just not sucking up as much power. So I don't know, it's pretty interesting to think about. So sorry, totally random, but it made me think about that. So, but I definitely agree about maximizing, like leave nothing to waste and maximize like what you can. And also like I'm very what's the word? When I was a kid, my parents' house just was like full of like movies and DVDs, and it always kind of like bothered me where it just because it was just so much. It was just like it just took up so much space, and it was just felt like wow, it's just like a lot of stuff. And this is really tangentially related, but like for me, like I do have a private a very small movie collection that's just limited to like 10 things, 12 things, just because it's like you don't need that much to be happy, really. And I don't know, just like I think like I like the idea of like kind of like limiting, conserving, just maximizing what you like I don't know, just I don't know. I'm kind of rambling, but like I totally agree with you, Bibia. There's a long-winded way of saying I agree with you. Just like saving things, cherishing your things, not chasing the dragon, like chasing the constantly new thing. Just like actually savoring and appreciating what you have. I really like that mentality personally. So, let's see. So, the primary threat to the Sawback Angelshark is overutilization of commercial and artisanal fisheries, particularly demersal fisheries, for example, trawl fisheries. Historically, angel sharks are so common that fishermen developed a special net designed specifically for catching them. I've never heard that before. Oh yeah, sorry. Car quality is quite good in Japan and Europe, though a little less. But I tend to speed quite a bit, shorten the lifespan of the cars I use. But with age comes slowing down. Yep. I remember in the aughts. Actually, no. Yeah. Sorry, late 2000s, early tens. I had an American car. I won't say which brand it was because I don't want to put it on blast. But that thing was just dying. It was really bad. It was really bad. And I appreciated it. But it was like literally falling apart. It was like just like the upholstery on the inside was coming down. I've done so many repairs on it, and it's just like it was bad. And then I got my Honda, which ironically I learned that actually a lot of American cars, they're made overseas, or a lot of the parts are made overseas, and then weirdly enough, Honda has and I'm not shilling for Honda, by the way. Like none of us is sponsored by them. I really like my car, and I like having something that I could use for a very long time. So, but anyway, but I believe the car, I don't know if it's in the United States or North America, but the car that is the most American, as in like it has the most parts, at least in the tens, like at least a few years ago, is actually a Honda or a Toyota. It was like it's like most of them were actually manufactured here. Not the whole thing, but most of the parts were actually manufactured here. Like the actual factory is here. It's like, wow, that's really funny because it's like labeled as a Japanese car because the company is in Japan, but the actual plant for making it is here, which is really funny to me. But yeah, those things are awesome. I highly recommend Hondas and Toyotas. They last long. They're really great. The car is a big investment. It's a sensible choice. They're awesome. I'm not paid for them or paid by them. They're just great. So, anyway, we're here for the sharks, but getting distracted is way too much fun. I definitely agree. And the tangents are good. Because I think it would not. I think this is the secret sauce that makes it especially fun. Because I think if we did like stringently each shark's it's good. I think this flavors every stream because if we did stringently each shark story dryly every single episode, I don't think it would be a lot of fun for anybody. But I think these moments are kind of special, and also in a weird way, it's really cool to see. Just as each shark has a unique niche in nature, I really like that in each stream. Each one has a unique little discussion, or like kind of unlocks a unique little piece of thought that I'd ever like expected to go into, and that's it keeps me coming back. Like apart from my love of sharks and love of our community, I think like just that unknown is a lot of fun, and like I really appreciate that we all contribute to that. So it makes it special. So now I never knew that there was a special net for angel sharks. That is new information to me, and it's actually really sad. I'm kind of curious what makes an angel shark net an angel shark net. So maybe as we dive into some of the conservation history, because I think some of the papers that I have, will go into that. It might mention that. So, however, the last 50 years, significant population declines in angel sharks have been observed. With these declines coincide with the start of trawling activities in Northeast Atlantic and the Mediterranean. So there's a clear correlation between trawling and angel shark decline. And just it's really sad. This is also the story of a lot of areas on the East Coast of just where I live, but like fishing got better with the advent of gas power motors, other technologies. Like it used to be like wind power, sail power fishing, which can only get you so far. You only had so much control over. And also, you're fishing for less people. Like the population wasn't as large. Now you have more people who create more demand, and now you have a better technology in the form of a gas power motor. You're able to go out further. You're able to go deeper, and it totally makes sense that there's a decline as fishing technology has gotten better or as fishing activity has intensified. So angel shark net, I would guess just a little bit stronger and bigger trawling net. You might be right, Bibia. And it's really sad. I wonder if have you heard of turtle exclusion devices, TEDs, which I believe they actually did come from the United States, but it's a fishing net that has a funnel where we ran into a problem where we would accidentally catch dolphins, turtles, and no one wants that. You're accidentally killing these beautiful animals, and so we've created this device, and this is maybe decades old at this point, but it's this device. It's like this funnel within a trawl net that other fish or fishes can't really get out of, so you still retain your catch. But it's like an exit for turtles and dolphins, and they've actually been able to successfully, somehow apply it where it actually does exclude them. It's not perfect, but it does actually do an effective job at excluding them. So I'm curious if there is a similar piece of research for angel sharks, like an angel shark exclusion device. I don't know how to really design that, but that'd be really interesting to think about. Because angel sharks are sedentary, bottom-dwelling species, they're highly susceptible to being caught in demersal and trawl fisheries. Consequently, as these fisheries expanded with the use of steam-powered trawlers in the 1890s, angel sharks began to suffer significant declines in abundance throughout their historical range. Evidence of illegal fishing operations have also contributed to declines in sawback angel shark populations. The species is now considered to be extirpated from the Adriatic Sea, Ligurian and Tyrian seas, on the Balearic Islands, and in the Catalan Sea, and is considered rare throughout the rest of its range in North Atlantic and Mediterranean. Because the demersal fisheries that historically contributed to the decline of Squatina aculeata are still active throughout the species' range and primarily operate in depths where these angel sharks occur, the species remains at risk of overutilization. These are also related angel shark species: the Argentine angel shark, common angel shark, smoothback angel shark, and spiny angel shark. Is this the same one? Sawback Angelshark, different one. Okay. All on the endangered species list. So, interesting. Really appreciate Noah for at least having the shark on the list, and I appreciate that was a good summary of kind of the conservation problems. So, we'll dive into some more Sawback Angelshark conservation needs. But it's 10:30, so if anybody has a shark suggestion for next week, please let me know in the chat. Marshall, also, as you are new, if you're still on, please feel free to have first pick of any shark for next week. But not to put you on the spot, anybody can throw a suggestion in. I will try to find one too. I'm going to look up more angel shark info, and then I'll think of a species for next week. We should probably avoid lamniforms because we've covered so many of them, but everything else is pretty much fair game. So, let's see. It's a checklist of chondrichthyes in Cyprus. Might skip that. Let's see. Ooh, Howard, small spotted cat shark. We might have done that one, but if we have, we could definitely do a cousin. So this is small spotted cat shark, Scalerinus canicula. I really feel like we've done this one, but we could totally do a different cat shark if so. That's a great suggestion. Let's see. Playlist. I'm checking the Dr. Jaws, and actually while I'm doing it, I will go back to this angel shark footage, just as kind of like a nice observation of species behavior, so I'm not awkwardly looking up like the carcharodontiforms. Okay, so small spotted cat shark. We did Natal shy shark, swell shark, dwarf cat shark, coral cat shark. Oh, we did a lot actually. Blackmouth cat shark, magnificent cat shark. I'm actually surprised we did that one. Oh yeah, we did do the small spotted cat shark. Okay, but let's pick a new cat shark though. So why are there so many cat and dog sharks? That's a great question. Actually, Bibia, so I'm going to take a stab at it. For cat sharks, they're a widely dispersed, small, bomb-dwelling species that occupy... It depends on the species, but a lot of them occupy coral reef habitats. And I think this allowed for them to speciate. Like, each reef is a little different. And as each reef is a little different, each shark kind of maybe occupies a different niche. Has developed a different set of colors. A lot of cat sharks are deep water species, but my guess is because cat sharks are small and occupy a diversity of habitats, that's part of why they diversified. So that's just like a guess. Dogfish, I'm not sure why they got so speciose. That's a great question, by the way, because a lot of them are deep water. And that's kind of more of a uniform habitat, at least compared to shallow water coral reefs. So I'm not really sure. That's an excellent question. Let's see. It's actually a lot of cool. Ooh. Hmm. Sorry, I'm really getting caught up in. Wow, this one's cool. Sorry. Let's try this one. The yellow spotted cat shark, Scalerinus capensis. This is a close cousin of Scalerinus canicula, and I think this one would be actually really interesting. It's a very cool color pattern. So let's do. It seems to be international to call sharks dog or cat. At least the Dutch do it too. It is interesting. And actually they get in America they get interchanged, which is personally very frustrating for me because like dogfish are fine, but when they call chain cat sharks dogfish, that really frustrates me because like no, they're two totally different groups. Please don't say it. And then they call smooth hounds dogfish sometimes in America, and that frustrates me too. The worst one is sand shark. It just there's so many English names that are not correct here. It's really frustrating. So, but it is interesting that I think in general in human history, sharks are attributed to dogs or cats. I don't know about cats, but they're attributed to dogs because of the schooling habit. Like, and I think the equivalent is like if you had dogs that are like fox hunting or like bloodhounds or I guess like a pack of wolves, like you just see a bunch of dogs, acting as a unit, scampering around the landscape. It's quite a sight to behold, and likewise, for sharks, like when fishermen were seeing like all these dogfish like scampering together, colliding into these fishing nets to grab prey. It's actually just like really like that's where it kind of comes from. It just reminds them of like hunting dogs, gathering together in a pack. And actually that's really it because I don't think it's really the wolves. I actually think it is the domestic dog. And like when you think of beagles, maybe not Brittany Spaniels, but like beagles, bloodhounds, and like organized hunts with those dogs and their big group dynamic. There was an observation that equivalated that to dogfish, like the squalus sharks. Seeing them gather together in these massive schools, it just reminded I think some of the original scientists of hunting dogs. So I think that's why. I think that's where dogfish kind of got their name. Cat sharks are different, where I don't know if it's like the pupils of their eyes were kind of like slit-like. Sometimes that's the case, but it depends on the species. That's not universal. It could be their like lounge-like behavior, because cat sharks are all bottom-dwelling, and they all kind of like lay on the seabed, kind of like a cat. So I'm not 100% sure. But I did find a really cool, to Howard's suggestion, a really cool cat shark to review, the yellow spotted cat shark, Scalerinus capensis. So here we go. So this will be, of course I typed it wrong, sorry. Yellow spotted cat shark. This will be next week's shark. So Scalerinus capensis. I picked, Howard picked the genus, and I picked the species just because we covered the other cat shark, the small spotted cat shark, a few streams ago. But also, the yellow spotted cat shark is a really unique color pattern, so I'm really excited to take a look at it next week. So, let's see. Just catching up on comments, making sure. I didn't miss anything. Best luck with your kitchen. I hope it ain't too bad. And again, best of luck, Howard. I echo that sentiment. I hope it all works out as soon as possible. So, Okay. So I think in the last 20 minutes, let's take a look at any other unique conservation notes for this shark. So here we go. Extinction risk of conservation and critically endangered angel sharks in the Eastern Atlantic and Mediterranean Sea. I think this will. Oh no, actually, we'll get some notes. Here we go. So we'll read the abstract. This is from Julia M. Lawson, Riley A. Palom, Kat A. Gordon, Joanna Barker. Actually, these are quite familiar names. Oh, really familiar names, actually. Eva K. M. Myers, Heike Zidowitz, J. Mar Ellis, Alex Bartoli, Gabriel Mori, Sarah L. Fowler. Sarah Fowler is huge. She is the illustrator for Sharks of the World. Huge name. David Jimenez Avrado, Sanja F. Fordham, Roland Sharp, Ali R. Hood, and Nicholas K. Dolby. So these, a lot of these names are actually really familiar. So let's take a look at this. And can I squish this so that everybody can see this? There we go. I'm so sorry for the weird view. It's very annoying. Okay. So, understanding the details of local and regional extinctions allows for more efficient allocation of conservation activities and resources. This involves identifying where populations persist, where populations may still be present, and where populations may be locally extinct. 3 threatened angel sharks occur in the Eastern Atlantic and Mediterranean Sea: Sawback Angelshark, Squatina aculeata; Smoothback Angelshark, Squatina aculeata. It's terrible name. It's just too similar. it's too confusing. And Angelshark, Squatina. Population sizes and geographic ranges of these species have been reduced due to overfishing and habitat loss, placing them among the world's most threatened chondrichthyans. We revise distribution maps, review global status, and present a conservation strategy to protect and restore these angel shark populations by minimizing fishing mortality, protecting critical habitat, and mitigating human disturbance. Updated distributions reveal that halving of the geographic extent may have occurred for all 3 species, with potential declines of 51% for the sawback angel shark, 48% for smoothback angel shark, and 58% for angel shark. While 20 national and international management measures are now in place for angel shark, only half of these include the other 2 species. We encourage further conservation action to adopt and develop this conservation strategy to restore angel shark populations to robust levels and safeguard them throughout their range. So really, really wonderful focus. It was worse for the 10 downstairs, sorry. Thank you, Bibia. Thank you so much for the support. And actually, also, Bibia, I appreciate you just your comments on the channel as well. I really, really appreciate it, so thank you. And yes, please stay hydrated. So, hope you're having a good morning. And again, thank you so much for joining. So, I think we'll continue this paper, and just to be mindful of time, I think I'll just hop forward to wherever the sawback angel shark appears specifically. So here we go. So this is one of the 3 most threatened angel sharks. So within this family of 22 angel shark species, 3 of the most threatened are the sawback angel shark, the smoothback angel shark, and the angel shark. Okay. We've got some interesting comparisons. So it looks like the sawback angel shark is largest at birth, and kind of vibes with the angel shark as being the classic one as being the largest at maturity, and 188 centimeters total. The angel shark is the superlative at 244. Let's see. So the generation length, this is based on, there you go. Based on available proxy data from the generic Pacific angel shark. So this is not 100% accurate, but they need something to use for life history calculations. So they're comparing the generation length, the length at maturity and reproducing, with a Pacific angel shark. So that's 15 years. And that's not true. It's not accurate. Or it's not true, but it might be roughly accurate. So Reproductive periodicity is 2 years. So a year of gestation and then a year-long break. The litter size is 8 to 12 pups for a sawback angel shark. It looks like the angel shark is 7 to 25, and then the smoothback is actually really bad, 3 to 8. So very, very low. Okay, kind of just trying to make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh wow, okay. Really interesting figures here. So Sawback Angel Shark. Okay, I see. All right, this was a little confusing, but the map on the left is where the Sawback Angel Shark was thought to live, and then the map on the right is where it actually lives. So the teal areas on the map on the left are the expected range. The purple areas here are not confirmed, and the teal areas are the still current range. So based on the map, it looks like huge habitat reduction of the species. So over time, so it's really sad. And then there's the other angel sharks, which you can compare as well. So, Bibia. So yes, it looks like the angel shark Squatina is the largest, but overall they're roughly similar in size. Like all three of these angel shark species are roughly similar. So, wow. Interesting. So possible decline in range. This graph is a little trickier to determine, but the black is extant, meaning the shark is okay. The gray is presence uncertain, and the white is possibly extinct. So, but this graph is a little confusing. I don't know. The number of jurisdictions each geographic range category is shown along with the possible percent decline in range. So, oh, I see. I'm sorry. So angel shark, there's quite a few jurisdictions where we think it actually might be extinct. Smoothback angel shark, there's 3 jurisdictions where we think it might be extinct. The sawback angel shark, there's no jurisdiction where we think it's extinct, but there's actually 18 where we don't really know. The presence is uncertain. So, this is interesting. So, I've never really seen a graph like this, and this is a cool thing. These lines represent the cumulative number of national and territory protective measures for sawback angel shark, smoothback angel shark, and angel shark. The bars represent the cumulative number of regional protective measures for sawback angel shark, smoothback angel shark, and angel shark over time. So the pink ones are the sawback angel shark, and it looks like they've got the least amount of protection compared to the smoothback angel shark. And then up here in the blue, the classic angel shark actually has a lot of protection comparatively. So that's pretty interesting to see that. And that actually might be it. So I wonder, let me try to search for sawback. Most of the available literature focused on the angel shark rather than the sawback angel shark or smoothback angel shark. Interesting. The previous ice and relics assessment for the sawback angel shark indicated that the species was extant primarily in the western basin of the Mediterranean. Our results confirmed that the species is extant in the boundary area between the western and central basins and may be present in some areas of the western basin, but is also extant or present and certain throughout the central and eastern basins. Our results showed that the sawback angel shark was formerly found in 27 jurisdictions defined as nation states and associated islands and territories, We consider it to be extant in 9 jurisdictions, but the presence is uncertain in 18, and we could not find evidence that the species was considered possibly extinct in any jurisdiction. If the species is extant in all areas where we consider it to be presence uncertain, then this species has not undergone any range contraction. If the species is extinct in all areas where we consider it to be presence uncertain, then the geographic range has declined by 51%. So that's actually pretty interesting to see that presence uncertain, meaning it can go either way, but if it is truly extinct, it's experienced a severe population decline in a lot of these areas. So, Bibia, great question. So it looks like for the angel shark, they're not used for fins, but they are used for meat, and they are used for leather. I think a lot of sharks are used for leather. Let's see. Utilize dried, salted, and fresh for human consumption. Liver oil and hide also utilized. Okay, so oil and leather for the shark, and that oil sometimes translates to for sharks when they say you use the liver oil, it can translate to like beauty products, squalene. I remember squalene was very controversial, where there's some makeup companies in the West, fortunately, who are very explicit in saying we manufacture squalene from just synthetic compounds. We don't take shark squalene. We don't do that. We manufacture it from something else. So I really appreciate that, because there's an ethical consciousness there. But yeah, sorry, to answer your question, for angel sharks, it looks like oil, meat, and leather from the skin. Shark skin with the dermal denticles is very tough. It's actually been used as sandpaper throughout human history. Not now, because it's kind of not as effective as, or it's not effective, but it's just not as like ethical or practical as like just synthetic sandpaper. But it used to be used for that. So let's see. More information on this species. Let's see. The challenge of misnaming and misidentification. Issues with species misidentification, overlapping ranges, limited data, and poor reporting of these 3 species continue to cause confusion. Misidentification and overlapping ranges result in notable non-genuine change for Sawback Angelshark. The previous IUCN Red List assessment reported a range from Morocco to Angola. Our distribution review found no records of the species south of Sierra Leone, reducing the no coastal length of the species range by approximately 5,000 kilometers. It is likely that misidentification between the Sawback Angelshark and the Smoothback Angelshark, which historically ranged south to Angola, made it challenging to define the ranges of these 2 species. West Africa remains chronically understudied for these and other marine fishes, meaning that engaging with regional experts to confirm landings and species distributions is key and may uncover further revisions to our work here. Limited data, poor reporting, and the absence of data at the species level are also problematic in the Mediterranean Sea, where angel shark records from large swaths of the coastline are only identified to family level. As with angel shark and anglerfish in the United Kingdom, changes in distribution and population abundance resulting from misidentification can mask potentially more serious reductions. Yes, thank you, Bibia. 100% agree. Everyone should look for non-animal harming products first, but people are stubborn. Agree. The nice thing is, I think a lot of, because I was looking. It's kind of funny. There was one day. This was like a year ago, but I was looking at my fiance's makeup, and I was like, just checking the ingredients just to make sure, like how it was sourced, and it was ethically sourced. So it's great stuff, But I really do think there is a consciousness, and there has been, and I think it will continue to grow personally. But like there has been a consciousness not to use animal-made products or animal-tested products for makeup, at least. I don't know how far-reaching it is, but I do feel like it's kind of getting. The focus on that has increased a lot. So maybe it'd be hard for nature this decade. It is going to be interesting. And like it's almost 11, so it's probably too late to have a like this is gonna be a conversation for another stream. But I have been really, really, truly contemplating the overall impact on nature in the age of AI, for better and for worse. I really don't know, and I do think it's really interesting to think about where it's. I don't know. I really just don't know what's going to happen, and I mean that in a optimistic way. I know I keep saying I'm an optimist, which I am. Just there's a lot of like weird, like I don't know. There's like a lot of weird niches, loopholes, opportunities for nature to kind of like thrive, and I don't know. Like this is not a good comparison, but the one thing I'm thinking about is like you remember in COVID, the whole "We Are the Virus" campaign, where when human activity shut down, there was a lot of areas that were kind of being reclaimed by nature, and there was a lot of like examples of animals and plants kind of like growing and like kind of like overrunning certain parts. And I don't know. I just it is. I think in a nutshell, and this is going to be a conversation for another stream. But I am very curious thinking about like okay, we're seeing a lot of countries, Japan in particular. We talked about this. I don't know if it's last stream before, but Japan in particular, and then now it's starting to really catch on in the West that are slowing down their birth rate. So is that going to mean less population replacement, and will that mean, less pressure on natural ecosystems eventually? I don't really know. I really don't know, honestly. And I'm very curious about that. And I'm actually very curious to see, in my lifetime personally, are we somehow going to actually, like, kind of ease off a little bit, like ease off the pressure on the, like it's kind of like taking the foot off the pedal, as far as development goes, if we continue this trend of slowing population growth. I don't really know, because again, this is happening in Japan and in the West, but in other parts of the world, population rate is increasing. So I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen. So, but I'm cautiously optimistic ultimately. So, Dr. John's, yes, there's a growing number of people in the West who are looking for nature-friendly ways in certain parts we grow fast. Let's hope the whole world will join in conserving nature. 100% agree. So, so we'll see. It's going to be interesting, and I'm definitely keeping my eyes open on like demographics as they relate to like the overall impact on the world. Like as far like, and when I say demographics, I mean like population demographics, like the change of population over time. How is that going to change things? I talked about energy efficiency. If you compare the world now versus 50 years ago, per capita, or at least maybe not the world, maybe the West, per capita, or maybe not the West. Let me say that. Not the West. Let's say countries with like high, what's the word? Like highly industrialized nations. If you compare energy efficiency now versus 50 years ago, I feel like there's been a drastic improvement. And for example, this year, the port of Virginia, which is like Norfolk, Hampton Roads complex, it's all green powered. They went clean energy completely this year, which is kind of wild. One kind of weirdly little known fact is that Virginia actually has offshore wind farms, or not wind farms, but like wind turbines that generate electric power. So wind power. We're also really pushing for solar, so we have solar power coming. We also have this fusion reactor that's being installed in Southern Virginia, so that's another form of green energy. So there's all these components that are happening, and this year, the port operations, which are really massive, went full clean energy. Like it's not coal, it's clean. So it's like things like that, population changes, and shifting lifestyles, people being increasingly more eco-conscious. I'm very curious. I'm genuinely really curious what's going to happen over a very large time scale, and I think it's a lot to look forward to. Personally, I just think it's going to be really interesting to see. And finally, sorry, the last component is like the age of AI, like the age of AI and how that will impact how we plan things. I don't know really. I really don't know. So I'm very curious. So we'll see. I'm not promising utopia because I don't know, but I'm also not promising Armageddon because I don't know. I really don't know, and so I'm cautiously optimistic. So I'm gonna wrap up some Angel Shark notes. I think we'll wrap up for tonight. But I really appreciate that was a really cool tangent to kind of like close things out. And maybe next week we could talk more in detail about it because I do think it's really interesting. So. So we talked about misidentification, angel sharks. Recent reports of both sawback and smoothback angel shark in West Africa prioritize this region for proactive management and species-specific surveys. Let's see. This is also, as far as optimism goes, it is always really great on these streams to read about species where we don't know a lot of information about them. And it's kind of incredible that in pop nature culture, we repeat and recycle the same facts about the charismatic sharks over and over again, right? So it creates this kind of illusion that like we know everything about them, and the reality is we really do not at all. I would say at least half of the species we've talked about on the stream here really don't have a lot of information behind them, and really could use future research, future scientists, like future people who can go out and survey these species and be like, hey, like what's actually going on with them. So the Sawback Angel Shark is another example of this, where it's really cool to see that in West Africa. This study was like, yeah, thank you, Bibia. This study was saying that we really don't know, like, did the species live in this particular area? Did it not? Did it get confused with the smoothback angel shark? And we need to like have more information and intel, like just to make a better determination about what's going on with this animal conservation wise. So, meaning opportunity for future scientists to take a look, to investigate, to study sharks. There's just so many of them that actually need future shark people. So it's just really, really cool, and I think very encouraging to see that. So, but I think with that, we'll wrap up tonight's stream. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really appreciate you all being here, and I really appreciate our discussions tonight. Sawback Angel Shark was a really cool shark to study, and I'm glad we got to see another angel shark. Sorry, let me play this. It's kind of awkward that it was frozen. So I'm really glad we got to see another angel shark, especially one that needs attention as a critically endangered species. So thank you so much for giving me and the Sawback Angel Shark your time and appreciation. Mostly the Sawback Angel Shark, mostly them. So, and I hope everybody has a good rest of their week. So next week we are going to cover a brand new species that I've never seen before, the yellow-spotted cat shark. I feel like yellow is a very uncommon color in the shark world. The striped smoothhound is really beautiful, having those yellow stripes. So I'm really excited to see a cat shark with yellow spots. I think it's going to be a really spectacular species in life. So very excited for next week. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next week for the yellow-spotted cat shark. Cheers, and see you later. Bye.